think that we're live.
The funny thing is, the first like 7 times I've watched a YouTube stream, everyone has the same thing where they're like, "I think
Are
we're
we live?
live."
Is it
Yeah,
ready?
I
Are
think
we
we're
Is
on?
that
live.
how it
Are we on?
works? Is sound working, guys? That's literally
I
how it
think it
works.
worked. I should. I can
Yes.
see a preview. It says live. Okay,
Yes.
we're on.
I can see us. Let's
Okay,
go.
welcome
Oh my
everybody
God.
to
Wicked.
the Caster Couch. My name is Chunks. Joining me once again, Kovo and Saga. It's episode 2, and things are a little scuffed tonight. I think we should be completely honest here. Things have not gone to plan. Obviously, with the technical issues the teams faced on Saturday. Now was it? Group B had the issues. It led to a delay, which means we literally have to do it live. We have like a few
Friday.
hours turnaround time.
Friday. Yeah.
So yeah, apologies for that. We're live. We're not quite as edited, but hopefully we've got everything that we need to bring you guys a bit of interesting information. First of all, though, Saga, Kovo, how are you, and how did you find group stages?
I mean, I think I'll say it first. I'm pretty good. Saga just had an absolute fire alarm and had to leave his apartment for an hour or two. So
It was
I
really-
wonder how he's doing.
It was really hype. I missed like the second half of the last game of Group B, but you know what? Nothing really interesting actually happened in that, so it's fine. But no, all in all, group stages has been very solid. A lot of surprising teams doing really well, a lot of surprising teams doing really badly, and a lot of sort of expected teams doing both. So yeah, all in all, pretty solid. Just what we want from a global.
Yeah, I mean, it's not disappointed, has it? I think there have been a couple of surprises, but as we reach the end of today, a lot of those potential surprises have kind of become the opposite of what we expected. They never actually came to fruition. I think tonight, because obviously for anyone who isn't aware, the Twire pick'ems haven't been updated yet. The new prices haven't been set, so we're not actually able to do them. We're just going to talk about Group A and Group B and maybe what we think going forward, and then if Twire has updated and we've been able to get all of that, we will go forward and we'll do the pick'ems. If not, we'll probably cut it short and we'll just put a tweet out with everything, as long as that's okay with you guys.
I think it's ready now, so I think we're good.
We're good.
It's
They just
ready?
went live.
Oh, sick.
We're cool.
Okay, never mind. So we'll do that later.
We'll do
Awesome.
that after. One thing that I just realized, Chunks, is if you want to give me the screen share real quick, I can show the results of the first of our first pick'ems.
Yeah, we can do that.
because-
So if I just go like this, then you should
and
be
I
able to screen
toggle
share now.
the screen sharing. Oh shit!
Yeah. Oh no! No, the
Okay,
password!
we're
The
good.
password! The password! The
Jesus,
password!
Jesus.
Oh.
Ooh. All right.
Are we good? Are we
think we're good.
safe? Okay, cool.
I believe we're good.
Someone's about to hijack our VMix call.
They can't read that. They're not that quick. There we go. So
Oh, what's this here? So you've not only just completely kind of proven how badly I did, but you've gone ahead and given us extra stats on how bad I
Yes.
really did.
I mean, I think the story is basically that I did really well in Group A.
Yeah.
Saga did decently in both. Me and you, Chunks, did terribly in Group B. And that's enough for Saga to beat us both.
That's actually a
And-
surprise. I expected Chunks to be like worse in Group A, where he was picking all the hot droppers. But I guess like the over peakers pick really worked out in your favor.
Clib probably really carried you, right? And then,
I don't feel good about my decisions. I'll be completely honest. That was what are those stats you got? Is that just like the number of points?
that is
that
just
we were able to
Group
get?
B points, Group A points, total points. And then I
Okay,
sorted
cool.
them. So Namjae is the winner of the private leaderboard in total because Twire didn't really have that up. And yeah, I mean,
Nice.
congrats for that. I will try and go stop that screen share now.
Yeah, did that
And
work?
there you
Hey,
go.
there we go.
Sweet.
Okay.
We're
All
learning.
right, we're testing out new things. They're working. All right, so let's maybe talk about the reason that my Twire didn't go so bad. I think the first thing we have to talk about is the hot drop. But how much can we really read into that, though? Because it's a hot drop. Other than what's going to happen in lower bracket, like, is there anything else we can talk about other than maybe, I guess Sonic's backed off. They got scared.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's two things I want to say real quick before Saga comes in. First thing, they both did terribly, SGD and Sonics. So going to be interesting to see what happens in the lower bracket. Secondly, 17 Gaming's pretty happy right now. They're playing with a sub and they still have Pachinki for themselves even in the winners bracket. And then thirdly, I guess that was three things. The post game interview from Tiggleton after the first day, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It was shown on day 2 where he was like, "Yeah, we'll come again. It's a pride thing. You know, today was a clown fiesta." He looked like shook. I've like never seen him like this. He was like itching and moving around, and it was like super uncomfortable. I'm not sure if it was just like interview was taking so long and the day was so long or whatever, but he looked. I've never seen him like this nervous or whatever it was before.
The Dubai heat get into him, maybe. It could be.
Maybe.
No, I mean, really, if you're like a Sonics player or even a Sonics fan, like after day 1, you're looking at them hot dropping Pachinki, Picado, and not making it out of them. Or if they do make it out of them, it's 2 players and they die before phase 2. So they're still getting like 14th place, even if they're technically quote unquote winning the hot drop. And they're just getting flashbacks to like last year where they literally ended up in like a similar position to this, second last in their group, and now a lot of pressure on them going through, and they still have the hot drop in the next phase. Not ideal, but at the same time, again, like SGD, not the same thing. Like, even though they were technically winning the hot drops, they still ended up 1 point ahead of them by the end of it. So all in all, it didn't really pay off for them either.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to play this clip again because it kind of got cut short. This is kind of Sonic's groups in a nutshell, it feels like. As things start to look promising, and then immediately they just shoot each other in the back and things fall apart.
Yeah, it's not been great. And I think the point is like about the last PGC is definitely there. And I feel like Sonics, they can be fantastic, but I feel like they haven't really shown that on an international stage all that much. They had that We Are the World Champions because they won the final week of PGIS, but other than that, it's been rough for them internationally. And then coming in with that mentality of we'll always go Pachinki, it's our town. Didn't work out for them again. So I don't know how well prepared they are now to play from different spots. Like, that's not that easy when you're coming out of years and years of Pachinki Picado.
No, it really isn't. I am going to kind of break the fourth wall a bit here again and just be like, everyone in chat, we are going to go off a relatively scripted approach tonight because we haven't had the opportunity to edit and stuff. So is there anything else you guys want to talk about on the hot drops, or should we move over to that T5 crash? Because that was a pretty fun clip that you managed to grab, Saga.
Right. This is one where I was actually... I think we're done talking about hot drops, and hopefully we're done for the whole tournament, but
I doubt it.
We'll see.
No, this is kind of a point that, like, in the pre-PGC episode I kind of had, where a lot of people are talking about the expectation of APAC and how they're not as good a region of other places, and looking into sort of why that is, and outside the obvious of like they run it down a lot, but also like utility usage. I actually got some stats, and it was like insane how the stats in like the best grenade damage of APAC was way lower than any other region, because in positions just like this in APAC, Teraton 5, they can crash that, they can hop over the wall, it's fine, they take a gunfight. But when they're playing against teams from other regions, they just get pre-naded. And that was literally their very first game. And you could tell from that point that they were a little bit shook and they didn't want to do the same thing again, because they just weren't ready to get absolutely bombarded by Lu, because nobody really does that in APAC. They will just sit there and they will take the one-on-one gunfights after the breach is done. And literally for the rest of day 1, Teraton 5 was making crazy wraparounds rather than going for aggressive plays onto compounds. I think that was like a big shock for them as like an APAC team. This is their first global event, playing against teams from other regions, and the utility usage is really what separates like the up and coming APAC teams from the ones at like the top end.
I think the best APAC team is the one that, or the best APAC teams maybe are the ones that don't really play like APAC teams, right? They are the ones that play a little bit more of that calm and collected, slow style, and I've seen a lot of that from Day Trade, and it feels like APAC team for me is still the crazy aggression kind of meta. Just run at people and be super cracked with your barrel. And yeah, like you said, it doesn't really work as much on international level.
I sometimes wonder whether it is a case of APAC being behind, like a lot of people say, because a lot of people say that this kind of run and gun meta was something that we saw not too long ago in other regions, and APAC has always kind of had it though. So does it maybe mean that APAC is just an incompatible region that struggles at these global events? Because if there's mutually assured destruction, then the person who comes out on top is the best at that strategy, and I think that it sucks for APAC to kind of be seen as a weaker region, because I think if one of those teams went into an APAC lobby, it probably would have been a very different story as opposed to the opposite way around.
I didn't know we had Xenox on as a guest today for the
Oh god,
yeah. No, it really just is like APAC. I don't know if you all have played SEA ranked or just like
once,
when
not again.
Tiggleton and the gang are playing that, dude. Like legit in the warm up before PGC, you're watching streams. They're playing ranked games on SEA servers. There's 7 players left alive in phase 1. Like everyone just sprints at each other and just goes gunfights, balls to the wall, no breaks, and that definitely like makes mechanically cracked players, but their game sense, their PUBG brain isn't quite on the level of the teams that do play a little more calm and collected. And the big difference really is those long-standing teams, Daytrade, Cerberus, the ones that have been together for a while with a coach for a while, that has basically beat that out of them, essentially. Like they still have mechanically cracked players, but they're not full sending it completely. They're playing slow on the edge and third partying, which is a lot of what you're seeing from a lot of the other teams in the lobby that are doing well. And then the teams that are going sort of balls to the wall full send are the ones that are struggling. So hopefully we see a little bit less chaotic stuff. And even, to an extent in this clip as well, the Expendables, they timed their aggression very well. They didn't just like full send it into it. It's like sneaking around, playing the edge a little bit, and then just a fat mechanically cracked spray down. What can we say?
It's so clean.
It's just APAC in a nutshell, isn't it? Where they just kind of sneak up behind you, catch you off guard, and wipe them out. But this kind of brings me to the point that we were making about, okay, APAC teams have been struggling, but at the same time, the fact that it's an incompatible playstyles makes things that I think a lot of players in EU, Americas, Asia probably wouldn't get away with more possible, because you're not kind of thinking about those ratty plays in the way that you would, maybe ratty's the wrong word, but you're not thinking about the same strategies that you would in a PCS group stage, for instance. You're expecting teams to be on top form, to be following a very mechanical game plan. I've noticed there have been a couple of squads who have really thrived on going less mechanical and going a bit more surprising, and I think Expendables were a good example of that over in Group B. Granted, they didn't quite make it, but it was close, which for a squad like Expendables, I don't think anyone expected.
When you're looking at teams like FaZe and Gen G, like bottoming out almost until the very last game, I think getting a 9th place, which is what I think what it was, or 10th place for Expendables, is super respectable, for sure.
Yeah, respectable is cool, but it doesn't get them into the winners bracket, unfortunately.
It doesn't at all. And there's a good chance that in the losers bracket, some of these like bottom teams just come back huge and just dominate them. So, well, we'll have to wait and see. But I think I want to talk about some of the biggest surprises for me. And someone asked me about what was the biggest surprise. I think question mark is a name you can mention, how well they performed. But on the first few days, like it was just Overpeakers. It was just them like running over the lobby, and everyone was like, "These guys are disbanding. These guys are quitting. Like, what's going on?" And they just come out swinging. And this clip, like, it's a double drive-by onto Entropic where they just see 2 cars in the fields and they absolutely arrest them. And that's not even their first kills. Like they pulled up on Yahoo right before that and just pulled up on them, got 2 of their kills, and got a lot of space on that southern side. Just a completely changed Overpeak. It's just unleashed. I think just that sort of mentality of it's our last dance, we'll give it all we got, has put them in a way better position, like mentally and on a confidence level.
Unleashed, definitely a good word for it. Again, it's coming in and they're like, okay, we'll do all we can because we've got like nothing to lose, basically. Like they did get dropped by their rogue, so they don't have really that on their minds. They know that they're either disbanding or making roster changes after the event, so they're basically just going out and like, guys, let's just have fun, let's just melt everyone that we see in front of us. And they definitely did that. But again, you can kind of see that like that all-out aggression isn't going to be as consistent as some of the other teams. So it's like they were dominating on day one. They came out completely swinging, all guns blazing, but then other teams started to get more into the groove of things. A little more third party and came in, so they did sort of steadily fall their way down the standings, and you can see it as well in the leaderboard. Like, if you look at where they are, 6th place in the standings with about half the amount of placement points of almost every other team in the top 8, barring Kwangdong Freaks. They're like the only team, other group, Chunks,
Other group.
Yep, other group. There we go.
So like everyone above them in this has like 40 to 50 placement points, and they're just there with 27, but like almost the most kills in the lobby. Only Na'Vi actually out fragging them, which in and of itself is maybe a little bit of a surprise given their PCS 7 run. So Europe in general definitely coming out looking very, very strong, with notable exception of one team who sure is missing from that graphic.
I mean, yeah, Group A, it's one team. Group B, it's one team. I think to be expected when we had all of the almost all of the EU teams had sort of a question mark behind them. I think Na'Vi had Na'Vi, yeah, good one, right? Na'Vi, Entropic, all having like really bad PCS 7s. FaZe, you never know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a world champion, or you're gonna get a 16th place. You never really know. So, probably going to be pretty happy about so many of the EU teams doing well. And I think we have a little bit of a clip from Twisted Minds as well, no?
Yeah, this is kind of our last one for EU, but I think we should talk about Twisted Minds because we kind of have to, don't we? They had such dominating performance at times, and yeah, it is a beautiful clip. What I've realized as well is I can actually change the playback speed on the fly. So if there's any shots that we see tonight, or any shots going forward that anyone wants put in slow-mo, just let me know. I'll hook you up, don't worry. Although I will warn you, Poro's voice sped up does not sound good. So I will make sure to keep the audio muted when I do that.
Yeah, I think this clip, by the way, I feel like there's quite a bit to talk about, and it's pretty much Sonic's getting absolutely dismantled. Like, Twitch chat is obviously like, oh my god, lol, Sonic's noobs, but Twisted Minds is playing with them. Like, the amount of baiting Perfectix does there, dipping up and down, hiding back down on the ridge, literally just giving them no chance at all to react with the utility and the peaks.
Shouldn't have been able to even be there.
To make the run. I mean, Batulins is doing so much damage. It's so hard. Once you have a player close range and you have a long range anchor, it's really hard. And Sonic's just not able to hit the shots on Batulins, and that's done.
Should have been able to 4-man peak Batulins if he was trying to do that anchoring, if they didn't just completely whiff the spray on Spyro, as he and Lou just got in the open top Marauder with no roof, and then just only knocked one of them, and then they had that other angle to worry about the whole time. So while Perfectix is just on the low ground, just running straight at them, they try and peek up into Batulins, and Spyro shooting them. They try and peek him, Batulins start shooting them. It's just like that little one more bullet landed onto the head of Spyro. That game doesn't end in that way, but just confidence from Twisted Minds to even do that.
And even then, they put themselves in the one position where they can win it, but it's still a 2v4 there at the end, right? Like, it's still a 2v4 versus Sonics, you know, who like the best team in NA, maybe world champions, whatever, Tiggleton, best individual player, you know, like, that's not nobody, and they just got shit on. They got absolutely cleaned up there. So I've seen a lot of plays like that. There was one from Snakers today. I don't think we'll have time to look at it, but sort of that mix of, I'm running it down at them, but I'm also baiting enough to keep them in the crosshair of my teammates to make sure we get traded. There's a lot of players with that sort of class and that sort of game sense in the lobby, and Twisted Mind has 4 of them. So beautiful to watch. I don't know. I just love that clip.
Yeah, I think that, you know, teams like Twisted Minds really kind of embody what it is to be a global team, if that makes sense, in the way that they are playing those strategies where they're constantly aware of everything. That I'm sure there's constant communication. We'll have to get some translated clips, because I bet that is a team that is so exciting to watch. But in terms of Group A, I think that's everything we really wanted to touch on.
One more thing about Group A that I wanted to shout out. And ever since we did the first episode and we picked the fantasy team, and I was running out of time on my pick and I was taking too long, and I just went, let's go Shrimzy. Literally about 5 seconds after I said that, I said, why didn't I pick Sparking? I wanted Sparking, but I just felt so bad about leaving over 10k free
Yeah.
Yeah.
from my money. But oh my god, Yahoo have been super, super impressive. Honestly, I think there is an argument to be made that Sparking is the best individual player in the Americas region,
Yeah.
like easily. But Yahoo as a whole team, in fact, NA in general, obvious exceptions again, has actually been really, really solid in this tournament. And
Yeah.
again, slightly unfortunate for Luminosity that they weren't quite able to sneak it out, but United in the other group have been insane. Yahoo right up there as well, like topping the group, really, really tight between themselves, Navi and New Happy and Cerberus. So actually, like, that's crazy. Group A has a team from every single region within 10 points of the top. That's a tight group, which we love to see. But yeah, surprising maybe that the team that didn't go to PCS 7 from NA and Yahoo has come out and done so well,
Yeah.
when similar situation for EU for Entropic has just been a complete flop.
I
Can
think
we?
it's
Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
I think maybe as we look at group, we can throw up Group A scoreboard just to sort of conclude that once and for all. But I
Yeah.
think it's super interesting how performance in region really doesn't mean all that much a lot of the time. Like we see Yahoo here, right, basically winning the group, like 3 points away, super good performance from them. And then some teams like Sonics that sort of have specialized on farming an A and just can't bring that to Worlds at all because they get hot dropped. Just kind of shows how complex PUBG really is and how hard it is to conclude from in-region performance to global performance. You just can't really.
No, it's a tricky one. Let's move over to Group B now because we touched on the fact that Americas have really performed well. I think there's one or two players that have stood out. Obviously, Kickstart has kind of been the beast that everyone talked about. I heard the casters talk about it a few times today. And
He's the other option.
yeah, this is the clip that kind of embodies it because you see him survive. Yeah, whatever. You know, he gets himself a knock, and then not much else happens for a little bit. He's just kind of chilling out. And then as soon as Gen G move in, look at this, he starts moving in as well. I'll set that to 100%. And then as soon as LG start getting distracted, he is there to just absolutely punish them. And I think it really speaks a lot to individual skill in the Americas region. Because there are a couple of players who really do just stand out. And it feels like this time it's Kickstart's turn to be that player.
And that was his 6th kill as well. Before that, he single-handedly won a fight versus 17 Gaming, some of the most cracked gamers in the world. And after that, he cleans up FaZe Clan, getting himself like 2 more kills there.
Oh, God,
and
yeah.
just like putting his team in the bag, like pulling a 777 for Expendables, just super clean. And I think United are sort of absolutely tired of being the second place in NA, and they've come here and they're sharp. And I was watching they had like a vlog put up a few days ago, and it's really good content. And they have like a scene where, you know, like Flood and Snakers are like messing around in the bathroom, pretending like they're spraying each other with a bidet.
Oh my god!
And
He
Kickstart
does
just
that
comes
every
in.
time.
Yeah. And Kickstart just comes in and it's like, what's going on? I was playing Aim Labs and you guys are in the bathroom. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, like this guy is sitting in his hotel room fucking grinding Aim Labs. And you can see it. These guys are super sharp. And I think when they make finals, they'll do pretty well.
Yeah,
when,
100%.
not if. I like it. I like the confidence there.
I think there's no way that they're not getting into finals. They like, again, we look at the groups and we said, okay, Group B all in all looks like the weaker of the groups, and while you have like the pretty much undisputed best team in region of 3 times in Group A, and then only really Day Trade in Group B that can sort of fit that bill. I think like at this point, a lot of people are now reconsidering their options for best in NA because Sonics really hasn't looked their home region form in the past 2 global events. And E United have just absolutely come out and slaughtered Lobby, like being so dominant above like 17 Gaming, Tai Lu, even beating them by like 20-point gap at the top. We just said how close Group A was at the top, 10 points between the top 4, and that's 1 from every region. But E United is just far and away like the best in their group, consistently picking up wins every single day. Yeah, they've been really crazy so far, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down.
There's one more Americas team I think we should talk about over in Group B, and that's LG, because up until today, I think you even see it in the notes that we made. I thought that LG were going through. I really thought that they had it in the bag, but then today things just kind of fell apart for them, and it's unfortunate because look at this playoff, Luke. It was huge.
It was so good. I mean, the fact that it got so close, even though they have a play like that where Luke literally gets them, I think, a 20-point game out of what should have been a 5-point game, and then they just, we'll have to say it, they choke it on the last day. They played fantastically, and then they kind of choked it on the last day. Purdy said it himself, like, just we choked, and they had no game with double-digit points on this day. It's rough. I thought they had it because they're usually a team that is scrappy and gets a few points every game. But just not making top 8 is going to sting. And I don't know, man. Like, I feel like there are some teams where I'm like, they'll perform better in the lower bracket because they're just fighting teams. They like to just take 4v4s and win them.
Yeah.
With LG, I'm not so sure if they're one of the teams that really gets a whole lot better in the lower bracket. So I'm a little bit scared.
I feel like we could look at that in a sense again. Like, we're looking at lower bracket. We're looking at like Polish Power, SGD, T5, teams that do really just go for that full send it APAC-esque playstyle. And Luminosity is well known to be one of the teams that is like the best at using utility. And we've already seen how quickly APAC playstyle can fall apart when you're against that. So Luminosity, I think they'll be fine. I think they will come up into the second round or the middle bracket, so to speak. But yeah, again, like before this tournament started, we're looking at the groups and we said, okay, we expect Group A to be top heavy. We expect there to be a little bit of a gap. There was definitely less of a gap at the top, and maybe not necessarily the teams that we expected to be rounding out the top end. But if you look at where Kwangdong Freaks finished in 8th place on 83 points, and then 9th place in GEX was 69, so about a 15-point gap for the middle. Whereas in Group B, that gap is much, much tighter. And there's so many teams like Luminosity, the Expendables, Petrichor Road were only a few points away from maybe getting the qualification, just needed one or two slightly better games. Or teams like BBL today had a huge day. Take Me Away Gaming have done like pretty solidly on the first and last days. So teams that we definitely didn't expect to come out and look as strong rather, but they are the teams that when we look at this group, we said, okay, there's teams in here that can on a good day look like the best in this group, or they could look like Polish Power did and be in 16th. But on another day, it could be vice versa. Polish Power could have quite easily been in 4th place in this group and BBL been in last place. But it really just comes down to like inconsistency. And for Luminosity, I think it's a little rough for them that the cutoff point in this group was just that little bit higher, because if it's literally like if they were in Group A, 2 points would have been all they needed to get into the top end. But in Group B, it's sort of streaky and inconsistent, and it just wasn't quite enough for them, which is unfortunate. But at least shout out Wildcard, they got in.
Yeah,
love to see that.
Wildcard was super solid.
Again, all in all, good.
Wildcard was super solid. I think they played that game that they won versus 17 Gaming. It was game 4 today. They played super solidly and aggressively when they could, and defensively when they didn't have to. And I want to quickly go back to one of the earliest games of Group B. We have the clip of 17 just completely ratting out Pero, completely just reading into their rotation, knowing where Pero will go and ratting in that garage building. Instantly sort of showing them what's up and that they know exactly what their playbook is. Yeah, it just completely showing them what's up. Instantly 2 players dead in the first game. And again, this is Suju. This is sort of their sub. I'm not sure if Xiaobei will be coming for week 2. I'm not sure what the actual deal is with him not being there.
I think it will be hard considering it starts literally tomorrow.
Reasonable. So yeah, I forgot they didn't make losers bracket. In my head, they were still losers bracket because they were like 10th or something when I started watching today. But considering that these guys are playing with a sub, I think it's crazy how well they've done, and I'm a little bit scared for what happens if they get Pachinki in the finals and they get their full roster. I would be scared.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I want to kind of circle back to Saga's point really quick about LG, because they're a team that I am a little bit concerned about going into the losers bracket. The fact is, as you mentioned, they're a very structured team, and They are really good at their nade usage, and I don't think that them going into this almost scrappier lobby is actually going to be a good thing for them. I think that it could be the opposite. I think that they are
Yeah.
a team that tend to thrive off predictability and putting themselves in locations based on what all of the other teams in the lobby do. I think that's what makes Gunnar such a good coach, is that he's able to prepare the teams without saying, okay, this is exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
I am still very,
Pre-game
very
prep.
concerned though about this, because their pre-game prep is amazing, but it's about how you react. And I think trying to react against squads like the Expendables, like Polish Power, like how the hell do you even prepare for
I
that?
don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at like the bottom half groups: 22 Esports, Tianba, Bagopar, Pio and the gang, Pio and the boys in the bottom 8, and I'm not expecting them to play predictably, like you said. It will be very scrappy, very sort of chaotic. But that's just what APAC is. So I use APAC
Yeah.
as an example. The teams that have done well in APAC, even if we go back to like LG Divine in like PCS2, PCS3, Fury was doing really well. Daytrade, Buram, the teams that do very well are the teams that control their space and basically don't allow themselves to get drawn into the scrappy chaos. And then in the late game, they just go and clean up, and they basically get gifted wins. So if Luminosity can just sort of do that, they will be fine. And I think, again, you only need to make the top 8. I think they are a better team than a lot of
I
the
agree.
teams that will be making an appearance in the bottom 8. So I expect them to do fine. But again, there is the potential, because it will once again be pretty similar to Group B, where it's like a lot of the teams are the ones that can just pop off and top the group, or completely shit the bed and do nothing. So they it's pretty coin flippy, but I'm pretty confident they'll be fine.
I think they are a better team, but I'm not sure if they'll make it just because of how up and down they are. I think if you're looking at a team like FaZe Clan or something, they are one of the best. They have the best players, or some of the best players in that group. I'm still not sure if they'll make it just because it's so random. Oh, we have this clip. Fantastic.
I had it prepped and I was like, how the hell are we going to loop this into the conversation?
Look, okay, watch this clip. Watch the absolute carnage, and then pay attention when we cut away from Sia. When 8C comes up the stairs with a shotgun, Sia has a revolver, and now look at the kill feed. He wins that. That is dirty. That is not what should have
Wait,
happened.
He didn't even not get shot. So he got shot with a shotgun from there. He must have hit like his legs and done like no damage. That's okay.
I don't know.
I love the fact we got the reactions as well.
I wish we had the cams on earlier as well, because imagine the comms, imagine the chaos when 80 is screaming, "This guy's got a gun, Gustav!" You know, like running away down the stairs.
That was yesterday's games, right?
Yeah.
It
was-
that's the day that I missed because stupid Zach was at my house.
Yeah, that was the last game yesterday, and yeah, rough times for FaZe for sure.
Crazy.
All right. Anything else anyone here wants to talk about real quick before we head over to the Twire pick'ems? Or
Quick look at the leaderboard. Quick look at the winners bracket teams.
So let's first of all, this is the initial leaderboard for Group B.
Yeah.
This is Group A, just for reference for anyone who needed to know. And more importantly, this is the team list. This is going to be the winners bracket. This is everyone taking part. If they're not in here, take a guess where they are. They're in the losers bracket.
Let's pick one team that we think goes through and one that we think doesn't from this.
Ooh.
First, as the host.
All right, I am going to say... Oh, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because I know I'm going to curse whoever it is. I'm going to say Twisted Minds make it and Daytrade don't.
What?
Yeah.
Oof. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's too little mayhem in this lobby for Daytrade to make it work.
I think Daytrade have been one of the best. Daytrade and Cerberus, like, it makes sense because they're like the two teams that avoid the mayhem. So I think they could do fine, but I also do think that there's a very solid chance that they are going to have to go through the middle bracket. I'm going to say, you know what? I'll back him. I'll go Yahoo gets through. I think Tyloo doesn't.
Ooh.
I think
Ooh.
Tyloo, I don't know. From what I've seen from them, it's like they've actually been doing really well, but I think it is that sort of Group B syndrome where, like, I'm not sure they can make the same rotations, the same players, play the same positions, and get away with getting as many kills as they do when they're up against just overall stronger competition. I think it's going to be rough. I think they will be close, and I think the winners lobby overall is going to be very, very close for the top 8, but I think Tyloo is probably going to end up like 10th or 11th.
I think it's hard for who makes it. I was gonna say United, but I think I'm even more confident in 17, just because they once again get Pachinki Picado, and they should now be even better with their sub. They should have had more time to sort of gel together. And I'm gonna pick BBL as the team that doesn't make it, because they are just incredibly inconsistent, and they love sending it into the middle without a plan. And they won't get away with it as many times as they did in this lobby. And we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
All right, so pick'em time.
Pick 'em time.
Yeah. All right, we're
Seems
gonna
like
warn
it, doesn't
everyone,
it?
obviously, because the Twire pick'ems only went up as we went live. We haven't done any preps. This may drag a little more than last time, so if you're not interested in watching that, we'll tweet out a video. But we're gonna follow the same order, right, guys? So it's gonna be Saga first, then me, then Kovo again, then me, then Saga. So
So we
Saga-
have winners bracket and losers bracket 1 that we can pick now.
We
Do
pick
want
winners
to-
bracket now because it's
Yeah, we'll
tomorrow.
do winners bracket now.
today, and then we'll do losers
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I will say is when you guys have picked a player, if you could add it to the spreadsheet I made with the price, it will just help me out a bunch.
Hmm I will do
Alright.
that afterwards, so I don't accidentally like.
I
turn my
need you
camera
to
off.
do
Right.
it at the same
Yeah.
time, unfortunately, because it's for the
Pain.
graphics.
Pain. Okay.
All right.
Right. Well, let's hope I have no vmix. Let's turn my camera off. Right. Let's have a look at our options then. Feel free to full screen me or whatever.
Oh, yep. I'll give that a
Um,
go. 1 second.
Where, hold on. Where is this? Where's the?
Bottom
where's
middle
the
is the
thing?
screen share thing.
I mean, where's the
Oh,
The
I'll send you the
spreadsheet?
link if I haven't got it.
I'll send the spreadsheet again if that's what you need. There you go.
Oh my god, I got so many links. It's
Good.
crazy.
Oh
All
my
right.
goodness.
Cool. Hit me up. Let's go.
Okay.
Full
to
screen
Saga.
Saga?
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
Nice.
Boom. Clean. All right, let's have a look at our options. Kickstart is expensive. Saw that coming. Sparking is more expensive now. That's a shame. Wow. Tycon is 28k now. Hate it. Right. I feel like for my group B, it sort of went okay, but I overspent early. So I'm
Mhm.
not going for like one of the massive money boys like I did that time. But we'll go nice and shall we say consistent. Let's put in Shinboy.
I respect it.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
I'll back my prediction for Yahoo to do well.
Right?
I'll put my money where my mouth is.
We'll see. My turn next, right?
Yes.
I am gonna go with Flood because I
Feel free
think
to
that.
change the scene, by the way.
Oh, yep. Let me come back to us. Damn, I'm really not very good at this, am I? Where's the cut button? There it is. Okay.
Boom.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Flood. Just amazing ADR farmer. E United have been on form. There's no reason not to in my mind. I think it's just an easy pick. Granted, 28k still quite a bit, but when you compare it to the players I got last week, like Tig, I'm sure he will do better in terms of getting points.
Wicked.
Yes.
You want to get me? I'll do the screen share thing. Oh no, I did
Yep,
it again.
so-
There we go.
Not that one.
All
Look at
right.
this single monitor dweeb.
No, it's not single monitor. I've just got vmix on the main one. So I thought for a second, I thought about picking Xiao Bei and just praying that he arrives tomorrow, but tomorrow is too late. It's not going to be a thing. What I want to do is pick Cao because I think he is he really underperformed in groups. And that's usually a good sign because that puts your price incredibly far down. This feels like an expensive lobby right now because there isn't a whole lot of 10, 14, 12Ks to pick from.
Yeah,
So I want
that's
to
why
make
didn't
sure I
really
have a
spend.
safe player. Yeah, I want to make sure I have a
Mhm.
safe, cheap player. And then I thought about picking Alia because I think Navi will do okay and Example's really overpriced. Thought about picking Jeems as well. And I am probably just going to go for Alia.
Okay. All right. So, your turn again, Kovo. Oh, wait,
That
you
was
just
two-
picked
no,
two.
no, that was
Sorry,
two.
I
Oh
was
my
tabbed
Jesus.
out sorting out the spreadsheet. Yeah. Let's come back here. So now it is my go again. So I am gonna go with. So I have two options. I can either go with a more expensive player here, or I can go with a cheaper player. I think for now I'm gonna go with the cheaper one just to save myself a little bit of cash. So I'm gonna go with Greg Shot again. I think for the same reason as you guys, where I think the wildcard underperformed. I think they can do better. Cow is kind of the example for that, which I was tempted to go for, but I think I have to go with Greg now, seeing the price isn't that much more.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Seems reasonable. Cool.
That is
Saga?
the Saga's turn.
Your turn.
Hit me up.
Okay. Cutting each time. There we go.
There we go. Boom. Right. I am since we're swapping again, so I pick and then it goes back to Mr. Shank. Sorry. Hair Shank, lol. I am definitely thinking cheaper end for this pick. Because I don't want all of the cheaper end picks to bounce. There's two that I'm looking at as potentials. One of them is slightly biased. This one, I don't know, because End was like massively considered one of the best
Yeah.
Korean player, one of the best in Asia, but he hasn't been all that great. So I will leave that one on the back burner and I'll go Belmoth.
Okay.
Lock in my boy.
Belmoth is good value.
Yeah,
I respect
day
it.
trade is still cheap. I kind of was thinking Flash, but yeah, he is like an extra 6K or something. And like you said, there's not really many cheap picks in this group, so I'm already over 50K. So we'll go conservative with our spending.
All right, cool. I will. I'm gonna pick Example as my next one. He's really damn expensive, and I can't pick Example. He's on.
Yeah, you already got out.
Right, I was
Yeah.
thinking Kickstart or Example. Guess that
Oh,
means I am going with my boy Kickstart. I think he's super cracked.
That's a big pick.
I think he's a good captain. I hope United doesn't start choking, but I don't see why they would. So I'm gonna go with Kickstart.
Okay. So is it back to me now? I always lose track of these. Do you have another one?
Yes, it's back to you.
Okay, back to me. So two players I think are very undervalued in the winners bracket. Both around the equal price point. So in an ideal world, I'm going to get them both because that'll leave me about $700 left over. And I need to think now of not only which player do I think individually is going to get the best points, but who else is going to be coming along with them and what team can actually consistently get to the end games, because I think that's where in the past I've lacked a lot of points. And for me, it has to be Twisted Minds. So I'm going to go with Batulins.
Very reasonable pick.
I'm glad you did, because I'm gonna go with Spyro.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Yeah, they are.
It was
they're
just the
literally
cash.
right next to each other.
Yeah.
In cost. Yeah, Perfectix is like the more attractive option in terms of stats, but he's an extra 10K. So I'll be right behind you with Spyro on my team. Sweet. And I have another pick now. Yeah.
You want to give Saga
Yeah.
the screen share? So we can
I
see
think
his
we'll just
final
leave it
plan?
like this, and then I'll just pull up the graphic once we're all done.
Sure.
I mean, let's do it, because I'm gonna have to scroll through and people can see what I'm.
Okay,
I'm looking at.
second. I should have organized this way better. I did not think we were going to be doing this. We're all good though. I'll make it
Okay,
work.
So all of this is not an option.
Yep.
I've just shit talked Tyloo. Hobbits, maybe. Probably.
It's
not.
unfortunate you have Belmoth already. I feel like Nurens would have been a nice pick. Why is New
Yeah.
Happy so cheap?
Yeah, see, that's what I was looking at, but the good ones are not.
Yeah.
You know, Ming Ming was my captain. He's way up there. Cipriani's just out of budget. Salute is a decent option. It's basically between Salute and Hobbits.
Yeah.
I think I guess I'm going to have to. You know what? I always, whenever I do fantasy, I always try to go for pick one from each region, so I have full representation across the board. So I'm lacking an Asia region player, so I'll put in Salute, and
Let's
I can
go.
round out my roster.
Who's your captain?
Yes.
Pick one.
Uh
You're gonna have to, anyways.
listen, I said I'm gonna back Yahoo, but I'm going to back Twisted Minds more. So Spyro gets my captain.
Reasonable, reasonable. Nice.
Okay.
Alright, that's everything.
So that's Saga
Um,
all done. Do I get one more before we go back to
Yeah,
Kovo?
so-
Yes.
Mm,
Okay.
Yeah.
It's my last pick now, and then we'll go to Kovo. And yeah, so I'm taking a look over at who I've got, and I think that there has been a player that has really gone under everyone's radar in terms of kind of his price to performance. I'm gonna pick Batulins. I think that Twisted Minds are just a really good squad. No, I've already picked Batulins.
Didn't you
Never mind.
just
I
pick
got mixed up.
Gattuso?
I got mixed up. It's because
Yes.
I've got it in Twire here in an order, and I decided to put Batulins before. My final player is actually going to be Uber, because I think that Na'Vi are a squad that can put up the numbers, and I think that Uber is a player that can get the damage when he wants to, and that's what I want from that player. And I think that I'm actually going to make Batulins my captain.
Look at this very Western team being locked in by Chunks. Super, super biased to your own regions, huh?
Yeah, I'll do. You want to give me the screen share real quick?
Yeah, can do.
I'll do the same thing.
Well, super biased region.
A super biased Western thing. So
Okay.
my two thoughts here are,
This
I
cow counts as APAC, maybe.
yeah, I mean, I've got I've got a little bit of NA, a
I've
little
got
bit of EU.
Flood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Can't let me
um,
off there.
I mean, West is NA EU, right? That's West. Whatever. I'm thinking about a doozy and James. I'd like to have Overpeakers. I like James personally. He's kind of a really far forward player though for Overpeakers, and in a lobby that gets a little bit more cracked, that might be an issue. And I just want to give some love to Question Mark, because they have an insane amount of haters, and everyone was saying, well, Dante on LAN, Omega Lul, Question Mark onliners. And now they've kind of shown off, and they've kind of proven that they can mess with the best and outperformed a lot of the other teams. So I'm gonna buy into the Question Mark hype and pick a doozy. But this is a captain right here. I mean, look at his face. He's ready to dominate.
I think everybody probably wanted Kickstart. I think everybody
Yeah.
else was probably just afraid to spend
There's
that much
no
money.
way you're
Yeah.
spending that much and not captaining him, so that's
Yeah.
fully understandable.
It's a gamble. It's like, you know, when you pick a cheap player, you're hoping he doesn't suck. When you pick a Kickstart, you're hoping he's not mediocre, because he
I'm
costs you
debating.
38k.
I'm debating if I actually just send it and Captain Shinboy.
Oof.
He got the same amount of kills as Perfectix did, but his damage was like 1,000 lower. So his stats wise, but it was more kills than Spyro got and more damage than Spyro got. And he's like right up there. I might just do it.
Spyro ran it down on PCS7. Just saying.
And then he didn't really run it down in groups, but it also you know what? Okay, he's my most expensive pick. I'm captain.
You can keep switching captains. I mean,
Yeah, you can
players
do
are
that.
locked in. You can keep
That's
switching
literally legal.
captions. Yeah.
Yeah. What are they gonna do? Ban me from Twire?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just DM Trisha. She'll sort it out.
Okay,
Okay.
so let
Locked
me
in, saved.
real quick finish doing this graphic, because I made a bit of an oopsie when I did it, and I don't know what I've done.
Look at this.
I don't know how the hell's that one's happened. But anyway, this is it. Just ignore my total, because that clearly doesn't work. This is our picks. Mine actually comes out to 99,300, if anyone was wondering. It is literally just that I've put it in wrong. But we're pretty close to the price point, all of us. I think we played a good job
Yeah.
of Moneyball there, right?
Yeah.
I think every player was just generally more expensive. I have no 10k Tycon cheat
Yeah,
code
you
this
can't
time,
cheat
so
this time,
I
Saga.
have to spend money. Oh, it's painful. But you know what? All in all, I think we're all pretty happy with our teams, I think.
I feel like no one really lost a player this time. Everyone sort of kind of got what they wanted.
Yeah,
So
we
that's
didn't
pretty
really
good.
get much of a time to preliminary
Yeah.
make teams. We can technically do that for the losers bracket if we have a look between now and when we do end up doing that.
Yeah.
Probably after the winners bracket phase. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe we'll do more stealing there, and there will likely be more picks that none of us want, which limits our options.
Yeah. Should we head over to the losers bracket and take a look at that, or are we going to leave that
I think
for
leave it
another
at
time?
that for now.
Yeah,
Focus on the
I
winners
was gonna say the
bracket.
same
After the
thing.
group stage.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Clean.
cool. that's the end of things. I have realized there was a transition I haven't had the opportunity to use all evening, and I've wanted to.
Do it.
So I'm just going to do that real quick.
Holy.
Let's go. How many
and-
hours was
and we're
this,
back.
Chunks?
It took too long, man. It took too long to set up. I've attempted to set up this stream like 3 times and I couldn't do it. Anyway, look, that's the end of it. Thank you everyone for watching. I know it was a bit all over the place, but we didn't really have any time to prep. We just wanted to get this out, obviously because of the short amount of time we got to work with. But thank you
Thanks,
everyone for
Dubai,
watching.
for breaking the servers. It really helped.
If you guys have anything else you want to add before we go, then go for it now.
I think this was pretty clean. I think we're getting better every episode. I can't wait for the next
I couldn't
episode
agree
after
more.
the winners bracket. And
I would just like to say, God Meow, welcome back, buddy. Sucks you didn't win a game or anything, but we missed you.
Yeah.
oh, it feels
well,
bad for
Dragged
Brew.
him out of retirement to bring him here. Love
rough.
to see it.
Oh well,
Oh.
look, that's the end of it. Everybody have a good evening. Enjoy the next round. We're gonna wrong button. My mistake. I was meant to click this because this is gonna be our outro screen because I forgot to wait one. We'll see you all after losers bracket. Is that when we're getting back together for this? Yep.
After
So, yeah,
winners
2
bracket?
days.
Yeah.
After winners bracket. Yeah.
After winners bracket. And
after
then
winners
after
bracket.
each-
Okay.
Basically, after each section.
Yeah.
So winners bracket, we'll do a live stream. Losers bracket 1, we'll do
Subscribe to the
one. Losers bracket
YouTube.
2. Yeah, do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the
comment.
podcast.
Kobo plugging all my stuff for me. Look,
Yes.
let's just wrap
Follow
it
the
because otherwise
Twitters.
we're never going to. We've been live for nearly an
Yes.
hour. Have a good